Hey guys, it's Maddie, and today I'm going to be doing my first ever book haul, so let's get started. The first book I got was Helter, Skelter by Vincent Bugliosi, and I got this on Amazon Marketplace, and I saw this going for like $5 and something cents, and I was like, okay, I need to get this because first of all, I already wanted to get this book, but every time I checked, it was like $8 and it wasn't even like good condition. I mean, it said good, but we all know what that means. But this was in like new condition, so I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get it now because seriously, like if you go to Barnes and Noble, it's like more than $10. So I thought this was a very good deal, and I cannot wait to read this because I've seen a lot of like documentaries about the Manson murders, and I listened to a podcast that had a series dedicated to the Manson murders and the time period and everything about it. So I'm hoping when I read this I'll have new information that I never heard of before. And the rest of these are from the thrift shop, so I was so happy I went because usually it's like hit or miss. Like sometimes I'll not find anything, but this time I did, so I was very excited. So one of the things I got was Voyager by Diana Gabaldon, and I saw this there and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get it because I have the first Outlander book, but it's in mass market paperback and I don't like reading. At least with that, like the text is very small, and so I'm just like, no. I mean, I want to get it like in these paperbacks forms. So I found this one, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get it. But then I found out like it was like the third book, like after I already bought it. But I was like, you know what? This was already on my wish list anyway, because I want to get the first three. Because they said, only if you really love like Outlander you can read the rest, but I just want to read the first three. So I was very excited that I found this, so that was very good. And the other book I got was City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare, and yeah, I have the first book, City of Bones, like in hardcover or whatever, and I found this there at the thrift shop, and I was like, oh my gosh, this was also on my wish list, so I got it. And then I found out it was like the fourth book, and I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it was already, those, like all 6 books are already on my wish list, but like I thought this was the second book until like I realized, I was like, oh dang. But whatever, I still haven't even read City of Bones. I don't even know when that's gonna happen, so I found this there. The other book I got was The Odyssey by Homer, and I already have this book, but I still need to take the sticker off, but I want to get them. I like anything that I find that I know of, like a book that I recognize, and I see the Penguin Classic forums, I just want to get it. And so I saw this there and I'm like, I don't have it in the Penguin Classic, so I just got it because I'm like, if it's at a thrift shop, it's not even a lot, so might as well. And the other book I was very excited to find was The Girl on Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson. I first heard about this book on Sam's channel over at Thoughts on Tomes, and she said this is like one of the most underrated trilogies, so I cannot wait to read this because I saw it in my library. I still haven't read it yet. Like I was in the mood for it, but I think now that I have it, I'm kind of in the mood to read this, so we'll see, because I haven't read fantasy in like a very long time. So, and the other book I got, these other 2 books I was like very excited to find, and the first one was Christine by Stephen King, and yeah, I've heard of Christine, like his book, but I never really like knew what it was about. I just know it's like about a car or something, right? Right? Or am I just completely wrong? I think it looks like a car, right? Yeah, I was right. Okay, yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure I heard it was some kind of car, so I was like, is it a person? But I'm like, no, I'm right, it was a car. So yeah, I don't know, I heard this, like, I never read this book, and I haven't really heard about it either too much. Like, usually when people talk about Stephen King, they talk about, like, The Shining, or It, or, I don't know, just like all those other books. So when I found this, I was like, what the heck, like, finally I can read this, because, I don't know, I heard it was pretty good, so, and, like, it's kind of, like, underrated, kind of, because like not a lot of people talk about it. And the other book I found that I was super excited because next month, literary gladiators are having a Stephen King readathon because it's gonna be Stephen King's 70th birthday. So I was like, I found this book and I was like, yes, because this was actually one of the books I was gonna read for it, and that is Misery by Stephen King, obviously. And yeah, I've never seen the movie. But I seen like parts of it. Like I already know what happens. Like she ties him up and stuff, and freaking yeah, I already know like that stuff. But like, some crazy lady and an author. So I cannot wait to read this for next month because this is one of the books I'm definitely gonna be reading this next month because, like I said, Stephen King readathon. So I'm definitely excited because I know after this, because we're having a readathon next month, I'm definitely gonna watch the movie after I'm done with this because it just looks like a really good movie to watch. You know, just horror and everything. So, oh, and the other book I forgot also was 1984 by George Orwell, and I read this book first like in high school. I think like before my senior year, like in the summer. I read this book and oh my gosh, it hecked me up a lot. Like my mind was just like, I mean, it's like the ending and just I was just not expecting it like whatsoever. So I mean, I think everyone should read this book because it's so freaking crazy. And I just like everything I thought that I knew was gonna happen in this book was just completely like just no, like I did not know what was gonna happen. So I really like this book. I definitely recommend it, like if you guys haven't read it yet. But I'm pretty sure everyone's read it, but surprisingly there's some people out there that have not read this book, so I definitely recommend it. So I was very excited to find this book because I did want to buy this, like, you know, order online or something, but I still haven't. So when I found this there, I was like, yes. So I mean, I don't know, I thought my thrift shop, you know, trip was very, very successful because I got a lot of books that were on my wish list, like The Girl, Fire, and Thorns, that was also on my wish list. And so I just, like I said, it's just very hit or miss when you go to a thrift shop. Sometimes you won't find anything, but sometimes you do. So like I said, I always go, you know, wait a couple weeks to see what I find. And also the other book that has not arrived yet because, oh my gosh, freaking postal service like is freaking horrible when it comes to like tracking. I don't know when it's gonna come. It should come sometime this week, but freaking could come next week. Anyways, the book I also ordered from Amazon Marketplace was The Devil of Nine King by Mo Hader, and I first heard about that book on Katie's channel over at Chapter Stacks. Oh my gosh, all these books were gonna fall. Yeah, I first heard about that book on her channel, and the way she described it, it just seemed something that was like right up my alley. And I just love the fact that it was, you know, took place in Japan. So I just really like I love books that take place like in other countries and everything. So, and it was kind of, she said it was kind of like, I don't know, like thrillerish, mystery, like kind of horror in a little bit because of just the events that happened in Nanking, like, you know, in the 1930s and everything. So I just seemed like something that was really interesting. So I just got that book, but I have no idea when it's gonna come because freaking postal service is just so, like, I can go on a rant all day, but I'm not going to. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a very good day, and until next time, adieu.